Welcome to a brand new show of the Blake Sloan Real Estate Show. Got tons of great information. Brand new show this week. And this week we'll talk about with the brand new micro market numbers in. They're very, very interesting to say the least. We have some prices leveling off in some areas, but also some declines happening in certain areas along the Grand Strand. We'll talk about what areas the Grand Strand price sales actually declined last month, which is interesting. If you look at the same month last year, less sales. And we've been talking about seeing that happen a little bit as well. We also have seen some prices level off the past 4 months in terms of median price. We'll talk about what's going on there and really just look at what's your area, what's your neighborhood doing the last 12 months and look at how everything ended up overall for 2021. Also, we'll talk about an article we had on our docket last week, just didn't get time to get to. And it talks about while waiting to sell your house costs you a small fortune in terms of what's happening this year with the spring season. And so there's very, very interesting data coming out, which is interesting from that. We'll talk about as well. Obviously, I just closed on a property on Friday of a property. Someone reached out to us for instant cash offer. They didn't want to go on the market, didn't want to do traditional sales. So we came and bought it cash for them, closed in less than 2 weeks. And so that's something we'll talk about. That's an option for everyone out there that we're doing a lot of and really ramping up this year as well. We also had one other thing on last week's show list that we didn't have time for. That's very interesting, though. There's a warning from Glenn Beck, right? Massive upheaval in housing market. And some very interesting numbers. It just talks about nationally what's happening with giant corporate hedge funds and things like that. We'll talk about. We also have some amazing success stories. Our team's been absolutely crushed it. We talked last week how our team did last year, and we're starting off on fire right now. And we also have a couple of horror stories. One couple, Melissa and Scott, cost themselves over $36,000 by going with a different agent for less commission. So we'll talk about what's going on with that. And as usual, some great info. Just make sure you stay tuned for sure. Dave, can you turn me up just a little bit? Thank you. Yes, and that's the whole reason why we do the show. And so, I mean, had another example twice this week. We had one horror story we talked about. We'll talk about Scott and Melissa and how it cost them $36,000 by using their friend as an agent. And also we have another one that, man, this guy called this week and only wanted to commission. That's all I wanted to know. He didn't want to know what the agent does, what we do. And I'm just telling you, it's a massive mistake that people make over and over and over again. Is making this mistake that thinking that all agents are the same. And it couldn't be any further from the truth. And so here's the deal. The whole reason to do this show is to explain one thing. The single most important variable that determines your failure or success as a home seller comes down to one thing only, period. That's it. And that thing is the agent you choose, right? Not your wall color, not the grass quality. It has to do with the agent you choose and specifically how they actually execute from A to Z when they're selling a property, right? Because there's 118 different variables from A to Z when you're selling your house. If each one's handled correctly, that puts money in your pocket, property gets sold. If anything's handled incorrectly, aka they drop the ball at any point, and that could be anything from the marketing, with the quality of the photos, the actual order of the photos. Does your agent answer the phone when someone calls in off the for sale sign? Does your agent answer the phone at night when someone calls off the internet? How long does it take them to respond to a web lead? What's the price strategy? How they negotiate? All these things are things that matter, that cost you your hard-earned equity, and people make this huge mistake of thinking they're all agents the same. The same thing we told this guy when he called in this week. He's only wanted to know about commission, and he said, quote, I know that all agents are the same. And man, it just wanted to shake the guy, because here's the reality. And this is kind of the only way I can make people understand is that, look, if you're charged today with a crime you did not commit, do you just want any old attorney, right? Or a part-time attorney who's only tried a few cases? Or let's say you're diagnosed, unfortunately, with stage 4 cancer today, right? Do you want any regular doctor from the doc in a box? No, you want the absolute best, who's a specialist, who specializes in that type of medicine or that type of law. And you should demand that same level of excellence when you're dealing with, for most people, the largest asset, but they'll just go with any person who's the lowest, who's the cheapest, right? The last thing I want is the cheapest attorney or the cheapest doctor. I want the best who's going to give me the best value. And so that's what you have to understand in terms of real estate. And that's why we do this whole show. And hopefully, just hopefully it makes a difference in people's lives and how they make decisions and really put extra money in their pockets. So like I mentioned, in selling a property, it's 118 different variables from A to Z. And so the problem is it's physically impossible for one single agent to juggle all those balls. In the early 80s, no problem. One agent can do that. But now with technology and websites and all the things that have to happen to get to a successful home sale, it's almost impossible for one agent to do. And so what most agents end up doing is the 3 Ps. Number one, they promise you the world, aka anything and everything, just get listing. Number two, they put the listing in the MLS. And three, they pray that someone else brings a buyer. And that's really it, right? Then meanwhile, they're down the street trying to get the next listing. And so that's just unfortunately how the business works. How do I know? Because I came up in the business. That's what I experienced when I got in the business and really said, look, there's got to be a better way. And so I set out to do that. And that's why we created our team and create a model. It's a team within a brokerage. And we create a system. The system is called the Guaranteed Sold System. The only proven system sells twice as fast and for up to 20% more money than traditional methods. And it works very, very, very well. I designed it. We license other agents, other parts of the country. It's exclusive to us, but it gets proven, repeatable results. And it's designed to do one thing: manage those variables we talked about proactively with two things: technology and people, right? A team over 30 people we have with inside sales, outside sales, administrative team. We have closing coordinators. We have listing coordinators. We have a multimedia person who does video, photography, drones, all that stuff in-house so that we can control those variables and get the outcome for our client that gives them a huge competitive advantage. So if you listen to the show, you want to know that and at least learn about it, right? If you have friends or relatives out there, have them say, look, you got to call my buddy Blake because they have a system that's proven and repeatable that gets you maximum leverage to get you the most money for your home. On the flip side, though, guess what? There's 100 plus variables right now. When you're buying a house, it's very, very difficult to buy a house right now because inventory is so low. And so you want an agent and a team who can help you navigate that and give you a huge competitive advantage. So I designed the same thing for buyers. It's called the Unfair Advantage Home Buying System. Gives you priority access to foreclosure, distress sales, desperate sellers, the absolute best negotiation and purchase price, as well as home inspection negotiation to get you to the closing table successfully. And so that's what really encompasses overall. You want an umbrella that has experience, right? Technology and tenacity that can help you get to that closing table in today's really rapidly changing market. And so if you want to know more how that works, reach out, call me. That's the whole DNA why we do this show. And so we'll take a quick break. Be right back here. The brand new market numbers out. So what do home sellers, what do they need to know about the market right now? Home sellers need to know the market here on the Grand Strand absolutely on fire. We're seeing record numbers in terms of prices that sellers are getting. It's almost unbelievable. We're seeing hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars coming in the Northeast that are just coming bidding up properties and getting sellers more money than they ever thought possible. Got it. Now, how will that get them more money? That's going to help get home sellers more money because there's more buyers here we've ever seen before, but we're not sure how long that's going to last. We are seeing that start to level off a little bit. Some of that interest has started to slow down, so sellers definitely take advantage of the super hot market right now before there's any type of shift. All right, as always, thanks for the insight. Call Blake Sloan today at 808-SOLD. That's 808-SOLD. Or online at blakesloan.com. That's blakesloan.com.
Hi, I'm Barbara Walters. I'm excited to connect with Blake Sloan, the only real estate agent in Myrtle Beach that I recommend. You offer several options to home sellers, which really takes away the stress.
That's right. For sellers in a time crunch, you can agree to sell it by a certain date, pay cash for your home, or even rent it.
That's great. And if the seller has a bit more time?
Use our proven marketing plan and sell it for the highest price.
Work with my friend Blake Sloan and get your home sold on your terms.
Welcome back to the Blake Sloan Real Estate Show. The brand new market numbers in, and we'll talk about what's going on in your neighborhood, your zip code. This is the part that I get the most feedback on. It's obviously the hardest to do on radio because I'm having to run through a couple of different zip codes. And obviously, if it's not yours, just wait till yours comes up because I'm telling you, our marketplace here is very dynamic, right? We're interesting, unlike most cities in the middle of the country where we're spread along the coast. There's different areas, different zip codes. The further inland, the more different it is. And so we'll talk about what's happening here. And that just goes to show how important the micro market is in terms of your success as a home seller. And really, you want to make sure your agent understands that, because we also go deeper than that one-on-one with our clients, where we have the micro market within their specific neighborhood on a much deeper level. And so this really quick, I'll recap the overall macro market for anybody that missed last week's show really quick, so you can kind of get a feel for where everything's at right now. For single family resale homes last month, closed sales up basically 0.5%, almost identical to where it was last year. So December ended up 0.5%, 1,080 homes closed, which is great news there. Overall sales price up 21.8% versus the same month last year. And so that's interesting. We have seen it kind of fix a little bit over the last 3 months. So kind of give you an example of what's going on. Median price, it's been a little flat over the past few months, where it was kind of right on the 325, 327 range. And so we'll talk about what's happening in single families. Right now it's 320,000, up 18.6%. All around it's been from 324.9 in July, 325 in August, and 325 in September. That's single family only. I knew something was off there. I had all construction types in there. So that's including condos and single families. We'll go ahead and switch that up. Average sale price up 16.3% from the same time last year, which is great. We have seen a little bit decline. That's what my concern has been, is you look at the overall peak of last year. It peaked in September at $416,509. Right now we're at $398,605. So we did drop back below the 400,000 mark. So that's just something to keep watching. We'll talk about that here in a minute once we look at the overall micro market numbers. What's driving that right now, though, is inventory. Inventory is protecting price, which is very good, as we have seen some buyers just kind of back off a little bit. And obviously, December is a little bit of a slower time in terms of new transactions. And we have seen that ramp up like crazy here in the first 2 weeks of January. So right now, 1.1 months inventory for single family homes. If you check it, I watch it every single day. Our team watches it every single day. Overall, in terms of how many properties are available across the board. Right now in Horry County, single family homes, there's only 402 active homes, which is unbelievably low. One of the lowest I've seen it since we started tracking it. And it just means there's not a whole lot out there. We have, 65,000 plus buyers just on my website that's looking to buy here right now actively, with 402 single family homes in all of Horry County, which allows sellers to have a huge advantage right now, what we call a super seller's market. And so we'll talk about that here in a few minutes in that aspect. And so into condos really quick. Condos still doing phenomenal overall from last 12 months in rolling average. Closed sales, though, right now up 4.8% from the same time last year, which is great. They also peaked out, though, in May of this year with 847 closed in May. Last month, we did 657 here. So you can see it's a little bit seasonal, but also we are seeing it start to soften. One big challenge of that in the condo world especially is inventory. A new record low of inventory, down 80.0% in terms of inventory. Right now it's at 0.7 months. And so a super seller's market, we're really in what we call an inventory crisis. And so we have way more buyers right now than we do inventory. And we're able to really, if you do it right, the right system, you can tee the property up. We have a system we created that allows us to take it active on a certain day with a certain process we use, along with the open house, and then drive it to our buyers to allow almost create an auction type effect and drive the property up and get much buyers through there. And so that's something that we're able to do just because so low of inventory. We really want to make sure our sellers get the most amount of money for that. So really quick, jump into the Myrtle Beach market, 29577, 29572. Like I mentioned, bear with me. I'll run through each of these because it is very different based on your neighborhood, based on the zip code. Like, for example, in December, Myrtle Beach sales were down 2.3% from the same month last year. The good news is, though, prices up 19.6% right now, $416,150 versus $348 last year. So a lot of extra equity there in terms of homeowners in the Myrtle Beach area, which is great news. Year to date last year, they finished up. Sales were up 4.3%. Prices were up 14.9%. And so you could see it was very skewed the last few months of the year because inventory was so low and buyers were in a frenzy. Condos last month in Myrtle Beach area up 7.1% from 241 to 258. Check this out, though. Year-to-date condos in Myrtle Beach last year, basically the last 12 months, up 52.7%. So in 2020, there was 2,162 condo sales in Myrtle Beach in the city limits. 2021, 3,302. And so huge jump right there. Last month for condos in Myrtle Beach, prices up 22.8% from 142,500 last year to 175 this year. So awesome news overall in terms of condos. Little River area, 29566 zip code. Sales were down 21.5% in December. And so that's again what we're talking about, seeing some trends here. The great news, though, is prices up 30.7% last month in Little River. Huge inventory challenge there. So, for example, in 2020 of December, $270,365 was the overall median price. At the end of December 2021, $353,288. So massive, massive increase in equity there for a lot of people, almost $80,000 in terms of increase in equity in Little River area. So if you're a homeowner there, you probably have a lot more equity than you think right now because buyers are truly in a frenzy. Year-to-date prices last year up 17.7% in Little River, which is great, great news. Not many condo sales up there, but they are overall prices up 27.7%, which is good. In the Surfside Beach, where I grew up, 29575. Closed sales last month also down 18.8% in December versus the same month in 2020. Also, the good news is prices still up 32.8% from 257,587 all the way up to 342,000, so 342,000 even. So massive increase in terms of equity there. We do know though that price is always a lagging indicator, so we may see that soften just a little bit as sales soften up. If it continues to do so the next couple months, as something to watch, as we have seen some of the prices plateau a little bit in the area. Inventory also down significantly down in Surfside Beach. Condo sales, the sales down 28.0% from 50 down to 36 in December. The good news though, year-to-date condos in Surfside up 14.7%. Median price for condos in Surfside up 9.4% last month and 17.4% year-to-date. Right now, median price for a condo and townhouse in Surfside is $145,000, which is awesome, awesome news there overall. Carolina Forest sales also down last month, and so that's why it's so key to watch that micro market and kind of see what's happening and watch the trends. It's something we talked about on previous shows that we did think was going to happen just based on what we were seeing leading up there. Closed sales in Carolina Forest, like I said, down 21.6% from 148 down to 116 in December. The good news is it ended up the year up 15.4%. Prices last month, though, in Carolina Forest up 22%. Right now, the median price in Carolina Forest above $400,000, $402,432, which is awesome. That's way up from $329,900 in December of 2020. So great, great news there overall. And that's great news from them. Soxy, in terms of sales down 6% in Soxy. The good news is prices up 23.4% from 231 up to 285. They ended up the year to date up 13.3% in prices, which is great, great news. Overall inventory also down 55.8% in the Soxy area, which is 29588. Garden City, Myrtle's Inlet area, sales up, which is good. Closed sales up 8.5% last month, up 19.5% over the entire year, which is awesome, awesome news. So, for example, in 2020, there's 1,035 homes sold. In 2021, 1,237. Great, great news here. Like I mentioned, price up 16.7% in Garden City, Myrtle's Inlet, right at $399 even, whereas $342 in December of last year, which is great, great news. Inventory also down that area, 50.2% overall. Condo sales in Garden City up 2.1%. Last month, prices up 3.6% last month, but year-to-date numbers up 19.6% in terms of closed sales, up 18.6% in terms of median price at $205,500. And again, you did see it just softening towards the last couple months of the year. That has to do with condos, especially because inventory is so low just across the board right now. There's just hardly anything out there to sell. Conway area, sales are up, which is awesome, up 12.7% from 165 up to 186. Year-to-date, Conway up 17.1% in terms of sales. Prices, though, huge jump last month, December versus December, 26.0% increase in terms of median price. So, for example, December 2020 prices $220,000. Right now, $279,745. So massive increase in terms of equity for homeowners out there right now in Conway. Average sale price, percent received, 99.8% of asking price on every single house out there overall on average, which is great, great news for those homeowners. You'll see a lot of cases where if it's marketed right and it's a good deal, it's going to go over asking price. Many, many cases. Loris and Longs, 29568, 29569. We just closed the largest single family closing in in the Loris area, which has been huge. Listed at 1.3 million. It's a huge property, beautiful property, 40 acres, and I just closed that. We mentioned on last week's show from a buyer cash from all the way out in Los Angeles, who you may see on TV. I think we may get permission to talk about that one of these shows coming up. Median price up 38.5% in Loris and Longs, which is awesome, from 204,000 all the way to 282,560. We've seen a lot of properties, a lot of buyers just move a little more inland, especially that Longs area where it's still good value. They're able to get to the beach quickly, and that's just the next area you're seeing a lot of building happen, which is great news for homeowners out there as well. Also, really quick into Aner. Aner saw a big increase in sales in December. It's not a huge marketplace. So, for example, in 2020, there's 5 closed sales. In 2021, 14 closed sales, which is a 180% increase. But ideally, year-to-date number is most important there when there's less data. 54.3% year-to-date. So that's awesome news for them. Prices were pretty flat, though, last month from 262,500 to 264,000 this year. And so their year-to-date prices in Aner last year were up 6.8%. I do think that's just simply because there's such a mix. We sold properties out there with horses on them, with big acreage. We sold some smaller properties that were just single families. And so it all depends on property type, but it is a hot area right now, especially when you're talking about people building everywhere. Last one here, Pawleys Island, Litchfield. Closed sales also down 4% last month, December versus December. They ended up last year up 15.2%, which is great. Median price, Pawleys Island, Litchfield, up 11.4% last month and 15.9% just over year over year, which is the last 12 months. Right now, the median price, $476,000, which is awesome news. Inventory also way down there, down 51.3%. So if you want to know more about how your area stacks up, reach out to me because we have a lot more dynamic data. And here's the thing. Don't make a mistake of leaving money on the table. I see it every single day. Make sure you have an expert come out and help advise you the right way. Reach out, 843-808-SOLD. Take a quick break. Be right back with some awesome success stories. How much time I got, Dave?
Investors in real estate, Buck and I both know exactly what to look for to find the agent with the best tools and marketing to get the highest sales price possible for a home. Totally true, Clay. Here in Myrtle Beach,
Cool, thank you.
Agent is our friend Blake Sloan of Sloan Realty Group. If you need to sell a home and buy a new one, ask Blake about his guarantee. Get this, Blake guarantees to sell your home at a price and deadline you agree to, or he'll buy it himself. And since you know when your current home will sell by and for how much you can buy your next home without worrying about getting stuck with two more. There's simply no other agent in the market with a guarantee that will line up against what Blake Sloan can offer you. So when you're looking to sell and buy, he is your guy. Read nearly 750 five-star reviews by Googling Sloan Realty Group. Give Blake a call today and start packing. That's Sloan Realty Group. And tune in to Blake's shows Saturdays at 9 a.m. and Sundays at 11:30 a.m.
Welcome back to the Blake Sloan Real Estate Show. Hot buyers alert. My team and I are working ridiculous amount of home buyers. We're looking for homes in the Myrtle Beach, Grand Street area from 150,000 up to 4.3 million. And so one thing we'd like to do every week on this show is we call this thing internally in our office. We call it proof versus promises. And so a lot of agents right now want to tell you anything, right? They say they're number one. They got this buyers. They'll help you do this. And so one thing we like to do, we actually just put it all out in the open, all on the table. And so we've been doing this for years. Anybody been listening has seen this number grow and grow and grow. One thing we do is we share our current count of buyers who are signed up and actively searching for homes on a daily basis on our website. Right now, as of today, the real-time count, 66,414 buyers. And so how is that possible? And really, why does that matter? Because the first part, why does that matter, is the difference in us and anybody else is a lot of agents will just meet with you, promise the world, put the for sale sign out, and then they start trying to get buyers in. For us, we outspend the average agent 100 to 1 from a marketing standpoint, just because of our business model. Our team model, that's really a hybrid with a brokerage, allows us to outspend the average agent 100 to 1. And we market both nationally, locally, and globally, and bring in buyers from all over, which allow us to match those buyers up with our sellers and really help get the best value for them and the most money. So right now on the site, I got Doreen Stewart. She's from Brick, New Jersey. I got Tim from Conway. I got Michelle from Ottawa, Ontario. I got Danielle from Providence, Rhode Island. I got Anna from North Myrtle Beach. I got Newnan, Georgia, Wendell Cox. I got Karen from Staten Island, New York. I got Chris from Ackworth, Georgia. And we got Ari from Myrtle, South Carolina. Here's a cool one. Anna Britton Costello. She's from London. UK, which is pretty cool. And so right now, she's on the site searching, and she just registered, and she came from our pay-per-click ad that we have, and her average sale price is $535,000. So that's the difference of us and everyone else is we're spending tens and tens of thousands of dollars every single month driving traffic. So we have buyers in waiting, we call it. We have software. Anytime we get a new listing, we reverse engineer the most likely buyer for your property based on their previous search patterns. So it allows us to really do it quickly in the right way, allowing our sales team to help do that, which is obviously what you want. You want to hire somebody who can actually get it sold, not just put it to MLS and hope that someone else brings the buyer. So really quick, awesome success stories. Our team is very, very proud of. I just want to share a quick shout out. Dan recently, I purchased his home just 1 year ago. Him and his girlfriend recently decided to move back to Michigan to be close to their family. They did not want to be a landlord from 750 miles away, but was worried, though, he couldn't get his money back after owning the home for such a short period of time. Thankfully, he heard about me and my team on the radio, decided to give us a call. We came, met with Dan, share with him we have tons of buyers who are looking for a home just like his. And not only can we get it sold, we get it sold for significantly amount more money than he bought it for. We came in, designed a custom plan, launched our global marketing blitz, professional photos, the virtual reality walkthrough. Within 2 days, drove over 20 buyers through Dan's home and had him a full price as is offer. Now able to move on to Michigan with top dollar and top equity in his pocket and not be stuck in his house like a lot of buyers thought they were. Also, another one, Raven. Her mother recently passed away. She inherited her mother's property from her. Raven's mother actually used us and our company to purchase it. And she knew her mom had a great experience. So thankfully, she reached out to us, gave us a call. We came in, designed a custom plan, launched our global marketing blitz, professional photos, virtual reality walkthrough, drove massive traffic, had an offer way over what she initially thought she'd get for the property. Now she doesn't worry about dealing with that property and put maximum equity in her pocket. And so really quick, one last thing. We have a horror story. An agent, basically a sellers who came to us, Melissa and Scott, they want to sell their house, and we let them know, hey, look, we can get you $390,000 for it. Met with them, showed our plan. They ended up going with a discount broker for only 1% less, and who was their friend. We know that because it shows MLS. They ended up listing their house for $360,000, and it went under contract. And so the reality of using their friend and saving 1%, which equaled about $3,500, cost them $36,000 in terms of that. And so this is an example we see every single day. Make sure that you put the maximum equity in your pocket and that you at least get another set of eyes on it to really see what we do and how we can separate it. Because just like I mentioned earlier, the agent you choose matters. Reach out to us, 843-808-SOLD, and we can definitely help get that sold for you. Got 1 minute left. And one thing I missed earlier, I just want to talk about interest rates. Interest rates are really going back up like crazy. Right now, the rate for 30-year fixed, 3.57%. Last week's show was 3.47. Week before that, 3.22. Huge jump. So if you're thinking about buying, lock in your rate now. And also make sure you get your house in the market ASAP as rates going to continue to climb up. 15-year fixed, 2.85%. 30-year FHA loan, 3.20%. 30-year jumbo loan, 3.23%. And a 5-year adjust rate mortgage right now, 3.60%. So if you want to know more about that, reach out to us. We have great lenders we hook you up with. And it will be right back here next week, same time, same place.